Hey everyone, I'm Joy Hoke. I'm the Executive Director of Families as Allies, and thank you for being here with us today. And thanks to all of y'all who are here on the screen with me. Um, every month that has a fifth Wednesday, we get together at noon on that fifth Wednesday and just sort of talk about what's been going on, catch everybody up, and just see what everyone's thinking. So that's what we're doing today. And we had some things we wanted to share. And anyone out there who has things you want to share, you can put them in the chat and let us know what you want to talk about. The most important thing at Families as Allies is families, and we get calls from families all day, every day. And we want to just begin with some of the things that families have been sharing with us. So, Jackie, you're the one who's most likely to be the first answer of the phone around here. What are some of the things, especially with school ending, that you've been seeing with the calls?
We've been getting a lot of calls about suspension or expelling. And with summer coming up, there might be a lot of stress where families not knowing what to do over that summer vacation as well.
Right, right. So the most important thing we want is for families to feel supported and to know that there's lots of people there for them, including us. So what
Mhm.
do y'all think? What are some things that families can do or things that we can offer to families that might make it easier? Because it's so hard to worry about your child anyway, let alone think I've got this whole summer to worry. So what can we do? What can we offer?
Well, we definitely have two drop-in per month. One is the drop-in family support time, and the other is the bring your IEP and other school questions. It's the first and third Thursday of each month from 12 to 1 p.m. So parents and caregivers can register and attend anytime between noon and 1 p.m. to get live support and assistance from all of us at Families as Allies to bring any questions that they have, or and they can stay on anytime during that hour with other parents to listen in and just learn and get feedback.
Absolutely. And families can also
And
just call anytime. But
mhm,
yeah, those two sessions are great.
mhm. And you can also still file a formal state complaint or make requests. You can also do preparations for when school starts again as well.
Yeah, that's a good point because sometimes families get the impression, and sometimes they're even told this, but it's not true, that the timelines and all those things that are available to you when your child is receiving special education services change during the summer, but they don't. You still have all of those same options. So you can file a formal state complaint, you can write a letter requesting
Mhm.
evaluation, you can call the special education hotline at the Mississippi Department of Education. All of those things are still available to you. Can y'all think of anything else?
I was just going to reiterate
Oh,
about
go
the
ahead.
drop in that's a great opportunity because we do have a lot of people who sometimes don't even exactly know what they might be looking for their child. And so sometimes we have families who drop in and maybe they have one question, but they stay on the line and someone else asks something else. And so the information that's given is helpful for everybody on the line. So
Mhm.
even if you're just kind of looking for some new ideas or insight, sometimes it can be good just to kind of call in and listen and see what kind of questions are being asked and what kind of information is being provided to support the family.
That's a good point. What were you going to say, Henry?
I was gonna say, sometimes you just want to vent. Okay, school is out, and my child got suspended, and people are gone home, and here I am. I got the entire summer to think about what's going to happen the next school year, and these people on vacation. And
Mhm.
sometimes you just want to vent and think about options so that, as a parent, you can relax over the summer, enjoy your child. So join us on these drop-in calls. And and sometimes you just want to vent. And we can vent through it and we can support each other and we can have a really great summer without just these nagging things, or we get that letter in the mail so we can talk about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely all want to be there for each other, both individual parents. And then we were also going to talk some about parent peer support and the training we do that, helping other parents learn to support parents around them. But is there anything else we wanted to say about the drop-in support or any of the school issues before we move on? I know one thing is you can go to our website under the resource page. That is so like me to ask you guys a question then start answering what I'm thinking, but I'm going to be me and do it. You can go to our website, and on our resource page, there's helpful resources, and there's a whole list of different things if your child's experiencing. Yeah, under education, I think it's really interesting. That's one of our longest lists, but there's lots of different things on there about what you can do when your child is experiencing challenges, or if you're trying at school, or if you're just trying to figure out what different things mean. And there's information on how to file a formal state complaint, like how to do it, and then different reasons families do. Okay, thank you. All right. So anything, now that I'll let y'all answer the question I asked, besides me, did anybody have anything you wanted to add about dealing with just the things that families sometimes face with school this time of year? Did we leave anything out?
I would like to just, encourage parents. Okay, summer reading is very, very, very important. Summer reading. So, and the schools have summer reading programs, different books. Please encourage your child to get involved in this summer reading. It helps with test scores. It stimulates the brain. So I want to encourage you to, parents, encourage your child to read during the summer, because sometimes when the child is home for a period of time, and you can look at research and it shows that, scores can drop or things can drop. So encourage them to read, even if it's just 20 minutes a day, just read over the summer.
All right. Anything else? All right. Let's move on then to some things we wanted to share about parent peer support. And I'll turn it over to you, Karina, and I'll try not to have any other ideas that I jump in before you get to say anything.
That's okay. Parent peer support is a parent or caregiver using their life lived experience to support another parent or caregiver who is going through similar experiences. Parent peer support taps into the strengths families have shown in negotiating many challenges, then uses those strengths to help them achieve what they have or want for their child or their children. It often focuses on dealing with systems, particularly school issues. A parent peer supporter is a very, 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 very important and great asset to add to your team.
Okay, great. So we do the parent peer support training for the mental health system, and also include families doing peer support in that training from other systems. So Nikki, you're our trainer in chief. You want to talk a little bit more about that, or just anything you want to share about parent peer support?
Right. It definitely is a great opportunity. Karina gave us a definition of, what it means to be a parent peer supporter. And we do have people who come to the training who are already employed in a position as parent peer support. So they've been hired by a public or private mental health agency across the state who wants to employ a peer supporter. And so they send them so that they can gain knowledge, a knowledge base around all the different systems within the state. So that's our goal, is to make sure that we're giving them a good foundation. Now, not everyone who actually comes to the training is already employed as peer support. Sometimes people come because they may have an interest in at some point gaining a position as a parent peer supporter, or they find themselves, due to their experience with family, church members, people in the community, often trying to support people based on the challenges that they faced in the past. So they may not have an official job as parent peer support, but they're basically still doing the work. So not everyone who comes is already employed. They may come based on their desire to eventually gain a position to do it, or to just have the extra experience and knowledge so that they can continue to do what they're doing for either themselves, friends, families, church members, so forth. Um, so it can be, we wanted to make sure that you understand that, you should have that shared parenting experience, whether that means the parent, foster parent, adoptive parent, those, anyone in that role. Um, but you do need to, you do not have to have currently hold a position in an official capacity as parent peer support. Also, we want to make sure people recognize there are some mental health centers, because we've had a few people recently who've come to do the training who aren't doing, they aren't doing the work in a full-time capacity. So there is some flexibility within some of the mental health agencies where they're allowing people to do the peer support work as a part-time position. So this may be an opportunity for someone who just kind of wants to see what that would be like, while they're still employed somewhere else. So you can always seek out, and look at if there's some flexibility in an agency that you may want to be a part of that would allow you to do the work, in a part-time capacity. And then the other thing that we're working on with parent peer support is the individuals who've already gone through the training. Um, we're working on looking at creating some continuing education opportunities, in areas where we think that the information would be very beneficial to those in the capacity of supporting other families. Not only, so they can have that information, but also have an opportunity to come together with other people who are doing the same work. So some of the areas that we're possibly looking at for continuing education may be additional training on education issues, um, the Medicaid waiver, possibly creating something to help people supporting other families about how to apply for disability for children that they may be supporting. Um, and then, anything around the child welfare system. There may be some additional areas that maybe Joy or someone else wants to include, but I know those are some of the areas that we know have been a lot. We've had a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, and feel like that it may be helpful in creating something to add to the pool of information already given to people who are supporting other families.
Definitely. That's really helpful. Yeah, I know we talked about, and this can be related to the child welfare system, like when a grandparent ends up raising a child, like how to support that grandparent. Um, and then, and I don't know if it glitched on other people's screens. That may have just been my screen, but it froze a little bit when you were talking about Medicaid, like the waivers that are specific to children, like disabled child living at home, helping families with those. Can y'all think of any other things we've talked about that would be helpful for ongoing training for parent peer supporters?
It's a great opportunity to share your life shared experiences, and then to be able to support families, and just being that extra person there that have actually been there, and you can actually communicate with the family, and the family have someone there that know that that person know how they feel, even though everybody handles things in different ways. But a parent peer supporter is a great asset.
Absolutely. Oh, and thanks for putting that up, Todd. We also support the people who supervise parent peer supporters, and that's parent peer support in any system. It's primarily in a mental health system right now, but all of these things that we're talking about apply to parent peer support in any system. And also it is whoever is raising that child. It might be their grandparent, it might be an extended relative, it might be a foster parent. So it's really parents and caregivers. So on June 29th, we are doing our next, we call them conversations, with people who work with and supervise parent peer supporters and all the things that come up with that, because it's a new role in an organization. How do you integrate it? How do you pay for it? How do you supervise it? Just any of those questions you have, we'll have that on June 29th. And then the next parent peer support training is actually, I think, the third week in July.
Mhm.
And those applications, because of our partnership with the Department of Mental Health, go through the Department of Mental Health And the link for that training is on our website and also on their website. But the application deadline is June 19th. So it's coming up. And if you're at all interested, we encourage you to take it. It's also a great thing to take if you want to do part-time work with us, because it prepares you really well to work at Families as Allies too. Can y'all think of anything else you're going to say about parent peer support? And I'll actually pause and let everyone answer before I jump in. Did we forget anything?
The only other thing I was going to share is it may be particularly beneficial for anyone who may work in maybe an educational setting or either a childcare setting where there's some more flexibility in the summer, because this particular training in July falls in a month where maybe some people may have a little bit more flexibility. The training is just about the entire week, and they are doing typical work time hours. So for someone who's employed in an educational setting or in a setting where maybe the summer is a little bit more flexible, and maybe they would have the opportunity to have more, a bigger block of time to do something during weekdays, this may be a great time that they may want to consider, looking at doing the peer support training.
That's a good point. Like if you're a teacher who's also a parent, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we have through United Healthcare, we are able to actually pay people to go through parent peer support training who are interested in doing this work in the youth court system. So, and that will be ending soon, but we can still pay in July. So that's a great opportunity too. Okay. Anything else on parent peer support? Now we're going to talk about the little ones a little bit. And Henry, you want to talk about what we're doing with the well visit planner and the feedback we'd like to get?
Yes. So we are Families as Allies. We are the Family to Family Information Center for the state of Mississippi. That's exciting. So here's some information. Here's some information we would like to give to you. Okay. And explain a few things about the well visit planner. Okay, what's a well visit? Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay, can you think back? I'm trying to think back years ago, many years ago, and the well visits are like regular checkups that your child will get up to age 6. We're talking about this well visit planner. Okay, and I can think about all those checkups that I had to take my kids to, and up to age 6. It's a lot of checkups with the doctor or the nurse practitioner, or any kind of health professional. And you have to take your kids. And I think they're like about 15 you're going to do up to age 6. That's a whole lot. Okay. So the well visit planner guide for it's a personalized guide. Okay, so it asks questions about you, your children, your family, and you can share this guide. You can share this information with your doctor, or anyone you would like to share it with, or you may not want to share it. Okay, and you can complete the sections which you want to share. So it asks these questions about screening, developmental issues. Your child may have developmental issues. I can remember being a young dad with young kids, and I would always wonder, okay, should my child be doing this at this age, or is this normal? Or I had questions for my doctor. So what this planner does, it develops this partnership with you and the provider. So it's a partnership, and it has this information and you can share it. Okay. So when you go to the site, you can go to the site and click on, you can have an account, or you just can go on there. Okay. And you can answer some of the questions, but it's based on your family strengths. Okay. A lot of times we can see things about the weaknesses of our kids, or what's wrong, and this is not working. But here you can develop this guide with your child and family strengths. Okay. Now, and I'm excited about it. I actually took the survey, and I'm like, I wish they'd had this 20 years ago. Okay, so we want to really we want to know, there's a link. We want to know uh what you think about it. There's a survey, okay? It's brief, okay? I was telling you, I'm like, that is brief. I love brief surveys. You can tell us, what do you think about this well visit planner? Okay. So if you're a caregiver or a parent, you may be a grandparent, and you're going on these visits, and you're like, okay, I want to know what's going on. I want my doctor to know. It's a very useful tool, and it looks at your strengths. I'm excited about it. Like I said, I wish we had had this when I was going on those appointments. Oh my goodness, got to go to another checkup. What's wrong with my baby? Is anything wrong? You can look at that plan. It can say you can start saying, what's right with my baby? Okay, how is my baby doing? These are the strengths that my baby have. These are the strengths that we have as a family. So I hope I didn't leave anything out. I get so excited about this. So anyone want to add anything, go ahead.
It's exciting to even talk about it because you can find things out ahead of time. It's like the checkups and everything like that. It's real great because you're not, if your child is on, I guess, on grade level, on age level, for as the learning, for as everything that the child is doing, and it's great. It helps mothers just keep track of everything.
It does seem like a really good tool because you can go in, you can put in your information about your child, and it helps you get ready for their next appointment. But it also just gives you feedback about how they're doing and some resources and information sheets if you want to know more about something. It does seem really helpful. And we're just trying to figure out, just for everyone out there, at Families as Allies, yes, we think this is great. We think it's helpful, but how can we best share it with families so it's the most helpful to them? Like, do we put the link on our website? Do we have people here who can help people take it? Do we have people here who can help people talk about it? Or do we just put the information out there and leave it at that? So knowing what y'all think would be really helpful. Can y'all think of anything else we were going to say about that? It does seem like a great tool. So please, if you have a child under 6 or younger, consider taking it, and then take that survey that's in our blog to let us know what you thought about the experience. Or you can just call here and tell us if you have any suggestions, or email us. And the last thing we were going to talk about, it would not be a Families as Allies Live if I didn't talk about policy for a minute. So I am going to remind you all that if your child's on Medicaid, if you're on Medicaid, if you know anybody who is on Medicaid, please, please, please remember, there weren't renewals. You didn't have to go through your renewal process for 3 years due to the COVID emergency. The federal government said, we're not going to do that. There's too much stress already because of COVID, which was really helpful. But that also means people may have moved. They may not be used to doing renewals. They may have forgotten that even happened because they've had so much else to think about. And so now everybody's in the position where if you're on Medicaid, and so you just automatically got it for 3 years, or your child, that renewal is going to happen again. And the first thing the Division of Medicaid is going to do is try to electronically renew you. If that doesn't work, if they can't get enough information just by looking in their computer at the information they already have, they're going to mail you a letter saying, we're trying to get a hold of you. So you need to let Medicaid know what your current address is. So you can go to their website, it's on there, and update your address. Now you only have to do that once. So if you've already done it for you, your child, you're good. The other thing is those letters have started going out saying, we're trying to get a hold of you to renew your Medicaid. So it's really, really important. Some of us are so used to just getting stuff through email or by text or whatever that we don't even look at our mail anymore. Make absolutely sure if you receive Medicaid that you are checking your mail, the mail that comes, the hard copy kind of mail in your mailbox. And don't throw anything away from Medicaid, because it may be them trying to get a hold of you to do an application with you to make sure that you still qualify. Also, and I haven't heard of this happening in Mississippi, but it has happened in other states. If anybody approaches you and says, "Oh, we'll help you with all that, but you need to pay us a fee," that is probably almost certainly a scam, because all of this should be just someone helping you. Yes. So contact Medicaid. If you have any questions about this process, you can get a hold of Medicaid. And also, there are these groups that have signed up with Medicaid to be coverage champions, who are out there on the ground in the community learning about all this stuff, so we can share it with whoever wants the information. Families as Allies is a coverage champion. And there's a lot of organizations who are. If by chance you're thinking, well, I don't really want to go to Families as Allies, 2 other groups you might know about that are coverage champions: Mississippi Center for Justice, Mississippi Health Advocacy Program. They are too. And there's other groups too. But the big thing is, make sure Medicaid knows your address. Make sure that you are checking your mail. If your child has Medicaid through Disabled Child Living at Home, there's going to be more things involved, because there's going to be more documentation to renew the Medicaid. And those are all being done through the central office. If by chance you go through all this and the Division of Medicaid says you no longer have Medicaid, there's an appeal process. And then also there's ways in the federal marketplace to look at other kinds of insurance. But we want to make sure everyone who has Medicaid, who continues to qualify for Medicaid, stays on it. And because what could happen is, if they send you a letter and you don't respond to it, you could lose your Medicaid just because you didn't read your letter. So don't let that happen. Can you all think of anything else we were going to say about Medicaid? And there are some new, just at the federal level, Medicaid policies that are out for public comment. And we put some stuff about that in our newsletter last week, and we'll be putting more in. The comments are due by July 1. There's some, in my opinion, good stuff in there. One is there's committees that are supposed to advise the Division of Medicaid, and in those new federal regulations, there's a lot more emphasis on having people who receive Medicaid and their families at the table to help in making decisions and make sure that they have all the information they need. We do want to remind everyone about our newsletter, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And then we have a couple of events that are coming up. The Peer Summit is going on, and they're both at the Hilton the next 3 days at the Hilton on County Line Road. And that's for anyone who's currently doing peer support. And I think, Henry, you're presenting there. Do you want to talk for a minute about what you'll be presenting on?
Yes. Peer supporters, come on down. We ask a lot of questions about these education issues, advocacy. We're going to get down into it, like as a peer support. How can you support families? How can you support parents with these educational issues and help them advocate for their own child? So how can you support? So that's it. I want to just give you a little taste of it. We want you to be there.
Sounds good. And then the other conference that's coming up is the Disability Mega Conference, and that is also at the Hilton. And both of these, I think you can register on site, is this coming Tuesday and Wednesday. And I love that conference because it's the only conference that I know of that is put on by people with disabilities, their families, and the organizations that people with disabilities and families make up. So we will be at that, and I'm presenting Monday, or not Monday, it doesn't even start till Tuesday. Tuesday, I think at 3:30, and that will be about how to find support and what you can do if either you or your family member is dealing with both mental health issues and a developmental disability, And sometimes it can feel like the more complex a disability situation is, the less the system responds. And that's often true, but really, the more it should respond and the more things like the Americans with Disabilities Act should come into play. So that's another opportunity that's coming up. And don't forget those drop-in family times. And I think that was everything we were going to share. Do y'all have any final thoughts, or did we have anything in chat or anything that we wanted to respond to? Are we good? Can y'all think anything? Any last words? Well, we really, really appreciate everything you all shared today. And we really, really especially appreciate those of you all who joined us. You are always welcome to call us. You are welcome to be part of us. And we just want to all be work together so that we can all get what we want for our children, because they're the most important thing. And thank y'all very much. And thank you behind the scenes, Paul.